Hey everyone, here with a quick guide showing you how you can complete the Cluckin Bell Farm Raid in less than 45 minutes as a leader for the Tier 4 Career Challenge on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S. First of all, you can play every single mission on easy, and it is also advised to do so as enemies will be less lethal, you have more lives, and frankly, it becomes just a little bit easier to complete this. Though if you feel like stroking your ego, you can probably definitely still do this on hard if you choose to do so. And finally, you definitely want to be bringing an HSW vehicle. If you forgot which vehicles have this option, have a look on your screen for the full list, or make your way to the Los Santos car meet if you want to see it in game. Personally, I would say that the two best options you have here are the Hikuchi Drag and the La Carouse. Particularly the Hikuchi Drag is fantastic because it's a bike, you can get off and on it very quickly, but I do understand that it kind of handles like a boat, and some of you might not be too familiar or too comfortable with driving a bike that as soon as you get tickled, you fall off it. Having said that, if you're comfortable with the bike, it is by far the best option here based on speed and how quick and easy it is to get on and off it. So in the guide, I'll be using the bike, but the strategies generally won't change of how you will use the vehicle. Also, the way that the time is counted for the challenge is by the amount of time that you spend in each mission. So if you spend 5 minutes in mission 1, 7 in mission 2, that will mean in total you have spent 12 minutes on the challenge so far, which means that you have 33 minutes remaining for the rest of the setups and also the finale. The amount of time that you spend in between missions doing anything else like different heist or free roam or anything along those lines does not count for the challenge. It is purely the amount of time that you spend in all the setup missions and the finale. It's much fun. Do you want to be following the route that I'm showing you on the screen? We're going to be going to location A first, and at location A we're going to be completely ignoring every single enemy and just simply make our way inside the garage right away to make sure that we waste as little time as possible. All these enemies on easy difficulty will have poor accuracy as well as poor weapons, so don't bother with even engaging with them, but it might be advised that once you are inside that shoot the two guys there just to prevent that little bit of extra damage. Once you're outside, make sure to keep an eye on your health, and if you need to re-up on that, to utilize that weapon wheel and quick snacking and armoring up so you can make your way to location B, which again follow the route that I'm showing you on screen. Once you arrive at location B, make sure to have your grenade launcher at the ready so you can shoot the truck or try to just bounce it off the wall behind it to take out a bunch of enemies in one go and basically completely eliminate the need of shooting any enemies. Just for security's sake, shoot down the 3 guys that are in front of the car as well to the right of you, and then make your way inside. Once again, there will be 2 enemies here, but you can ignore them if you want to. Simply grab the cash as quick as you can and then get out of there, and once again follow the route back to Vincent's lockup. Overall, the Cluckin Bell Farm Raid is gonna definitely favor those who know what they're doing with their HSW vehicles. So if you are someone who is confident in driving with these HSW vehicles, you'll be doing a lot better than people who will not. And with all that said, let's start with the very first setup mission, breaking and entering. In this guide, I'm going to assume that you have a basic understanding of the heist and kind of will be skipping over all the fluff that was in the main guide already. If you haven't seen that yet and you still need to know what all the locations are of the laptop and the terabyte, please have a look at that guide so I can avoid wasting time with that here. We're going to be making our way to Del Perro Pier first to pick up the laptops and make a bit of a route, which will probably give the most optimized way how you can spot them the quickest. In my case, in the footage, I unfortunately had the very last location, but it's not really big of a deal, especially because we're using the Hikuchi Drag. We can just squeeze through everything, hop off the bike quickly, grab the laptop, and then drive off again. As soon as we grab the laptop, we want to be speeding our way to the terabyte location. The best route to take for the 2 northern locations I'll show you on the screen, and if you have to go to the scrapyard location, then it's probably best to take a right instead of going through the kennels like I did just there. To take out the drones, make sure to use a minigun or a assault shotgun, or if you're feeling like going even faster, a well-timed sticky bomb will do the trick. Just make sure that you don't blow yourself up. As soon as you're done, you went inside the terabyte, grabbed the hacking device. It's time to get back on your bike and then already start making your way towards the train. train. Vincent will do a bunch of yapping and won't show you where to go just yet, but as long as you follow the rough route that I'm taking and take the train tracks to save yourself a bit of extra time, you should be totally fine. Once you arrive at the train, make sure to turn your bike around so you can use it to save yourself a few more seconds in a later section of the mission. Take cover here and start spamming your grenade launcher to blow up as many enemies as quickly as possible by utilizing the vehicles that are typically next to you. As soon as you see the key, by the way, you could take a bit of a riskier strat by just running towards it and kind of spam snacks and armor as you're running towards it, but for safety's sake, in the footage, I made sure to take out a few more enemies to avoid dying, because obviously death will result into a very big time loss. A good practice as well is to take out that sniper there, just in case it will do a little bit too much damage for a later section in the mission. Then hop back on your bike, get towards the train again, and then get into the train, and it is time to do the final section of this mission. The only real optimization I can tell you here is that as soon as you enter the red circle, you can already press right on your D-pad or E on PC if you're watching as a PC player to immediately start hacking the traffic lights and save yourself just a few microseconds here and there, because obviously as soon as you enter that circle, your train will start slowing down. Other than that, it's really just keeping an eye on your health and just following the train tracks and holding the acceleration button. There's nothing else to it, really. For the second setup, we'll be going to location A, and for completion's sake, I'll show you the best route that you can take, obviously taking as many straight lines as possible. The reason why we're going for location A is because it will kind of avoid having to go on the yacht, and yes, you could very much argue that location B has the better weapons, but unless you're someone who really wants to use that tactical SMG during the finale, I'd say it is probably a waste of time, especially with having to deal with the jet skis. It just ends up just taking way too long. The best practice here to do, by the way, is by going on this side and take down as many enemies as quickly as possible. Playing on easy, it seems that you are able to basically one-shot body shot all of the enemies with a Combat MG Mark II. So if you have that within your arsenal, make sure to use that, and maybe a normal MG will suffice as well. Once the enemies are down, quickly go through all the different vehicles and make sure to not blow them up, because it will destroy the gear, giving you a huge time loss. Once you grab the gear, grab the weapons, and then take the exact same route that we took to go back to Vincent. Once you arrive in the garage, immediately pull up your phone, send a text, and then select the gear and weapons, and mission complete. Very easy. For mission 4, we'll be going to location A once again. The primary reason why this is the case is because the Hikuchi Drag or any of your other HSW vehicles will be able to get location A a lot quicker than you would be by going to location B, get a slightly better vehicle, then have to go all the way to Polito. That's the main issue here. The time you will spend in that Getaway vehicle driving from its location to Polito is the biggest time loss here, as well as the fact that the professionals or the military are a lot tougher to deal with. The gang is a lot easier to deal with, but has one major downside. If you get bad RNG, you will get a Moonbeam custom, which, well, while it still will be possible to finish the finale with it, it isn't exactly ideal. It's not worth restarting the entire challenge for though, because again, you'll have plenty of time if you've been following the guide. Once you got the car, by the way, of course, make sure to use the train tracks to get to Polito the quickest way possible, and then call Vincent as soon as you've delivered the vehicle by texting him again and selecting the vehicle that you just got. For the fifth and final setup, you want to be bringing a Mark II weapon with FMJ rounds to easily shoot out the driver and the passenger of the van. After you're done hacking them and grab the outfits and you're at the compound, the choice is kind of yours. What is your personal preference? Personally, I went with stealth because I think it is much less to deal with during the finale, and the route is pretty easy and pretty obvious, and stealth is very easy to deal with. If you're not familiar with how to run through the mission in stealth, make sure to check out the guide for that to save a lot of time here. But the TLDR comes down to just having to do this as quickly as possible, and honestly, the least amount of time you spend in the setups, the more time you have in the finale to take your time with the stealth section. You can also go aggressive if you want to, if that's your preferred way of going and you think that you can go a lot quicker by just throwing around explosives and RPGs and stuff. But the one major downside to aggressive, I would say, for the sake of the time and the challenge here, is during the hacking device section, where you will have to constantly deal with one or two enemies constantly spawning, which will kind of slow you down a little bit. So for that reason, comparison, I would argue that doing this the stealth way is probably a little bit quicker and definitely easier too. Easy mode also has some less enemies spawning during the stealth section. For example, the guy behind the first shutter door will not simply be there, so that's also another upside of playing this on easy rather than on hard. The only real optimization I have after you have left the Cluckin Bell factory is by simply making your way to this section here and then call in your HSW vehicle again, which should still be set as your personal vehicle. In my case, it was the Hikuchi Drag. I made sure to look behind me because if you do so, the vehicle will spawn right in front of you, saving you a few extra seconds. Get on the vehicle and then just simply make your way to Vincent's lockup. Again, time wasn't really an issue to me personally, but I can understand that some of you might not have as much experience, but I hope that this guide was useful in order for you to also get to that 45-minute mark. Regardless, that's it for the guide. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and become a member like Chloe, GTA Plus, Notorious Jam, Dan, and the Chris Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.